Okay, gals, boys, girls, and those who identify as a moving vehicle. Uh, but seriously, um, we need to talk, guys. Uh, there's something that people have done that the banks have done, and they figured out a way around the collapse on their own and losing their own system. They figured out their own way of getting around the collapse for themselves, and it's the most extreme, idiotic way ever in history of saving the system one more time. It's the system is collapsing. It's going to collapse. It's falling apart. It's going to pieces. And the cars, we've talked about the cars being overpriced. I just made a video today. I'm going to upload that. I went down to the Toyota place. They've come along a little bit down at the Toyota place. I mean, but the prices are still way outrageously high. Especially $28,000 for nothing but a simple basic Toyota Corolla with an automatic transmission. I mean, $28,000. I remember 20 years ago I could buy a fully loaded two-wheel drive Chevrolet pickup Silverado with a 5.3 liter automatic transmission for that kind of money. Like an LTS or LTZ model, an LTZ model, and it would be nice for that kind of money for $30,000. But these days you get a Toyota Corolla for that kind of money. I mean, I know it's been 20 years or so, but in 20 years, it hasn't changed that much. I mean, that same Silverado that would be that kind of money back then will charge you 80,000 now. That's four times the amount of money. So let's talk about what the banking systems have done and what they figured out what they could do. What they figured out they could do is they have taken this. They have taken the money. They have all the money on the credit cards, all the money in this and that and everything else, and the loose cash, and the negative equity that's in these vehicles. Okay, they figured out a way to kind of like switch, kind of make the pendulum swing so that you can go deeper into debt and still have more money on credit cards to keep going more into debt. So it's just boop, boop, to keep going more into debt. Okay, so what they've done, what they figured out how to do is they take your credit cards of all your stuff now, and they're giving out personal loans like crazy for credit cards and everything else. So what they figured out how to do is they've taken your credit cards, they're taking personal loans, previous personal loans and stuff like that, and then they're also doing one other thing too to go with all that. So this is in the house, this is in the mortgage section too. So what they figured out how to do, and they just jumped up mortgage prices again. Mortgages is up even more now. So we got the biggest hyperinflation we've ever seen. I mean, the world has never seen a bubble this big. Okay, so what they done is they taken the credit card, loose credit, stuff like that, and even if you got personal loans, stuff like that, you can file for I mean, even if you got a payday, like Affirm and stuff like that, or Crediva. Um, that's something I'm going to talk about. But even if you got those now, you can take out a personal loan for debt consolidation. So you take $10,000 in debt, you crunch that down into a small payment of 5 or 6 years of getting debt relief for 5 or 6 years, and your payments go from $700 a month down to $300 a month, which leaves all these credit cards still open. So the people, they don't learn their lesson and go over here and to play the system where they should get out of debt. This is what they should be doing, is getting out of debt. Not getting into it, but they're getting to get out of it. So basically they just use those credit cards a little bit, and a little bit, 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 a little bit more, and then finally they end up with this huge credit card debt, and they got this other thing over here. So then they got this, and they got a huge amount of credit card debt over here. So it just keeps going like this, you see. And what's happening is, see, the system, the whole system, they're going from they got the small debt over here, okay. Then they just open them up for to get more credit card debt, okay. So what they're doing is they're opening them up to get more credit card debt by taking this, right? And then on top of that, because some people don't qualify for this, to push that up even higher, what they're doing is they're doing like Affirm and Crediva and a lot of little junk loans, $500 loan, $1,000 loan, $400 loan, $300 loans, and stuff like that. So the banks have gotten to the max on credit cards. They can't give you another credit card, but they figured out another way around that by taking out a personal loan to do debt consolidation. That'd be like One Main Financial and stuff like that, and even Capital One and other places like that. And they'll operate these institutions under a different name, but yet it's owned by the same banking system. Okay, so then what they'll do is like with Affirm. So Affirm, they'll give you loans and stuff, and they'll take it out at a certain time of month and everything else, and it's a good deal for some people. And it is whenever my foot got hurt, I actually used Affirm a little bit to help me get through that time because, I just didn't have a great lot of cash to keep on pushing me through, and Affirm helped me out a little bit. So I got to admit, Affirm can be a good thing, and so can the Crediva thing. But some people get too much stuff on credit, stuff like that they can't afford, they don't need. And they got to go out here and they got to buy it like that, okay, through that. Okay, so let's say you want something from Amazon, and that package from Amazon is $1,100, and yet you can't afford to buy it, but you can through Affirm, okay. So people keep on getting this debt even higher through personal loans or through something like Affirm or something like that. Okay, so then we got another factor. The other factor is cars. So what they've done is with cars, people have, when they bought these cars, if you remember straight back when they bought these cars, they paid way too much money for the car. So now they got all this negative equity. This car is sitting around, they got a buttload of negative equity. All right. So after they got all this negative equity stuffed up in these cars, all this money crammed up in these cars, well, they're in so much in the negative and nothing in the positive. There's so much in the negative on the cars side of things that is not funny. And so what they're doing now is they lease the car, okay? And by leasing the car, they go get a bunch of debt. You go get into a bunch of negative car loan debt. And what they do is they take and they lease the car. And when they lease the car, it gets them into a newer car. It gets them back into a new car. They lease it, and the prices are still overpriced on the car to begin with. And at the end of that lease term, you can go ahead and just give that car back to the bank or whatever else, and you can release that car at that point. So they figured out a way to get these people out of this negative debt in these cars, and got them into a positive debt by doing the lease term thing. Okay, so they're getting rid of the lease. They're getting rid of the lease term. You know what I'm saying? They're getting rid of the negative thing by doing the lease term. And in the end, you got a choice to buy that car, or you got a choice not to buy that car. You got a lot of choices, but you're in the negative. In some cases, some people are pretty badly in the negative. Depends on how new of a car they got and everything else. And me, I'm not in the negative at all. I'm in the positive. I'm way in the positive. But a lot of people are pretty hard in the negative. You know what I'm saying? So what people are doing is they're looking at this stuff and they're getting themselves way into the they're getting themselves way into the negative. Well, they're getting rid of the negative stuff by getting these leases. So basically, the car companies are able to basically sell a car again. They're basically able to keep the cars moving down the road again, and the consumer out here is getting rid of the bad negative debt and getting over the what hits they took back when they went stupid about cars. Uh, so then another third factor is you've got the house loans, the home loan companies, and what the home loan companies has done. And I'm going to try to keep this part of the video a little shorter. I know I'm going to end up still talking a little too long because I got another 16 minutes to go with that. So I don't want to make my talking part too long because of what I did at the car lot today. I went to the Toyota place to see if any positive change has been made there. And sadly enough, no. And that is, in my opinion, it's going in the wrong direction, even harder now. But anyway, so what they've done is they've taken the home loans now, and they're giving out home loans again, big time. They're giving out home loans again. So what they're doing is they're taking the people's negative equity and they're putting it against the positive equity in the home loans and doing refis, or they're doing HELOC loans, or something like that. They're doing different kind of loans. So, and then now they've also got it now so that you can have as little as 1% down, or 1% down, and you get a home. And 1% down on a home, well, then you got to pay closing costs, and you got to. There's a lot of stuff associated with a home. I don't know if you've ever bought a home or not, but there is a lot associated with a home. I'm buying my house and everything else. I got my house and everything, but with a home, you got to do the closing costs and inspection. It depends on how old the house is. If the house is built, let's say, after 1975, I think it is. You can opt for a lead-based test or not on the outside exterior of the home. My house on the outside and on the window frames and the two outside door frames, they test positive for lead-based paint. But inside the house, I'm totally free of lead-based paint. So I have to be a little careful when I'm getting out there digging around stuff because I live in an old house. My house is built in '65. Of course, I like that though because it's got solid wood floors and everything else. So I like the good, sturdy, old built homes. I love the old homes. There's nothing like the good old homes. But I prefer the old homes myself personally. I just love the well-builtness of an old home and the history that the old house tells. But you've got these other issues to go with that. You got your about $1,500, I think it is, for closing costs. Then you got your inspection. That's between $350 to $750 for your inspection. Then if you want to do a lead-based test, you can. And then if you want to do other contests, there's other contests you can do, like Radion tests. There's several tests. There's several tests that they will do based on what you want them to do. So if they give you a full deal of everything else, I mean the whole deal, you're looking at probably another couple $1,000 minimum right there just for closing costs. So let's say you buy a house, $250,000, 1%, that's $2,500. Then you got another $2,000, so you need $4,500. And if somebody who's got 3 kids, they can get that at tax season if they can file their taxes right and everything else. They can get that at tax season. Let's just be honest. I mean, you filed earned income credit, had a household, different kinds of things. 3, 4 dependents, depends on how you do things, and you can get more money back than you paid in at the end of the year. You can get more money back than you paid in, especially with this new thing where it's like no tax on no tax on up to 12. I think it's $12,000 or something like that. I think it's $12,000. So no tax on $12,000 of overtime stuff and tips. So that's up to $12,000. So no tax on that there, right? So we got all that going right there. No tax on tips, no tax on um, so on and so forth, right? So basically, you can get a home or into a home pretty much almost free. And with all the other stuff, the negative equity can be thrown into that home and everything else. Think about it. I mean, just think about all the bad stuff that you can get thrown in there. Anyway, I've been kind of loopy. I guess my mind just ain't right. I haven't really slept very great, you know. But lean back way too far. Anyway, guys, take it easy. Be good. Be good at it. And finish watching the rest of the video. I went out to the car lots today. I was out running around anyway, and I decided to check out and see what the car lots had to offer. I was really surprised at what the Toyota. I went to the Toyota place. Next time I'll probably go like maybe to the Subaru place or something like that. I like doing that stuff on the weekends. Let's go check things out. I don't know. I might ride up to the Honda place. I might go to the Nissan place. Have I been to the Nissan place yet? I think I did go to the Nissan place one time. I think I made a video and it just never turned out well. But I can't remember if I ever uploaded a video because every time I seem to go to the Nissan place, it's like cursed or something. But really, they're not great. They're not the best vehicles. And then the Hyundai place and the Kia place and Chevrolet place. To tell you the truth, the one I really kind of avoid going back to is the Chevrolet place and the Ford place. I usually try to avoid going to those two. And it's just because I feel like they get too much of a hard time for one thing. I could always go down to Dodge place too, the Ram place. But I feel like they get too hard of a time. You know, I feel like people abuse them too much. When you consider that they're not doing anything that Toyota and Honda's not doing. They're not doing anything that they're not doing. So quit being such an ass about it. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, you got them charging. You got people over at the Toyota place charging $80,000, $90,000 for a Toyota Tundra. They're not doing. Chevrolet's not doing nothing. Toyota's not doing, and Ford's not doing nothing. Toyota's not doing, and the Dodge place is not doing nothing that Honda's not doing. So, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, quit abusing them like that. Or quit beating them up like that. I mean, the bottom line is, you know, they're just doing what the other people are doing. So, I mean, the prices are comparable between the one. It just depends on which one you want. Personally, I would have to consider the Hyundai. But when it comes down to getting up, if I'm gonna get up around that $28,000 to $30,000 mark, I pretty much would have a hard choice choosing between 28 to 30,000. I'd have a hard choice choosing between Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. I would have a hard time choosing those. I'd have to go down there and look at every one of the vehicles, drive them out, see how I like them, see how they feel. See which one I prefer the best. I mean, all three are great vehicles. It just depends on the person and what you want, what you need, what your needs are. So, I mean, but at around that 30,000 range, I'd have to kind of really go out there and see what I could do, you know. But anyway, be good at it, take it easy, and like I said, watch the other parts of this video. It's pretty cool, but, you know, I mean, it's still ridiculous priced. Anyway, be good. Well, I'm out here on the Toyota lot today, and I've actually seen some improvement, actually, a little bit of improvement. Not great, though. This is the iForce Max. This is the Tundra, I think. This is LTD HV. Anyway, 61,443. You know, that's a... What is that? That's a Tundra. Then I got a Tacoma right here. So let's see what this thing goes for. 58,000. Why not? And I was wanting to walk down here. I was wondering maybe some of the cheaper truck lineup is down that way. And But I have noticed an improvement, and I'll show you that in a minute, what that improvement is about in the car lineup. Now, the truck lineup, I'm not seeing much of an improvement. It looks like it's still pretty bad. They only sold 20% of the vehicles that they made last year, at least to my knowledge. That's what I think they said it was. 60,448. Oh yeah, can you imagine what the payments be on that? And then on top of that, when you go to get these loans these days, they do this thing called they keep the truck, and you know, it used to be a sign and drive thing. You could just sign and drive, but nowadays they keep the truck, and you don't get the truck until they get the loan approved, because of the way that they've changed the market and the way they've changed things these days. Kind of guessing that these are going to be kind of more expensive also. Trying to get this done today. But let's check this truck out. This is a Tacoma. It's 2-wheel drive. It's 46,000. That's for a brand new one. Trying to see if there's any kind of cheaper truck line up. This is Toyota though, so gotta give Toyota credit. They are Toyota. They do make quality products. But I got also asked this question too. Well, this right here, see, this is a RAV4. This is our front wheel drive only. RAV4. 33,570. That's a bit bigger now, and that is a pretty decent vehicle. I think the bigger thing is what would you actually need that for? You know what I'm saying? Now, these vans have come a long way through the years. Let's check out. This is pretty much an old basic pearl white van here. Well, it's a nice van. A price on the window. Okay, I got another van here. Purity gray, charcoal purity gray. All right, 56,139 for a van. Ooh, that does look good. All right, here's a little more. I'm guessing this is probably about the same. Maybe $1,000 difference. That's $3,000 difference. Higher. So yeah, I mean, that's this market here, and they haven't sold none of these vehicles yet. So you kind of wonder why they haven't sold any of the vehicles. I don't think it takes rocket scientists to realize they got 20,000. They only sold 20% of the vehicles they sold last year. They only sold 20% of them. This right here is what I was looking at too. $29,014. Now they don't have all the added stuff that they normally would add. This is a Corolla FX. It's got some leather. No, it's got some cloth seats in it. Still a nice vehicle though. Still is nice. That's where I think really the value comes in out on these Toyotas. These trucks are just way overpriced. The vans are just way overpriced. I can probably go around and see what I can find other places, but I just said, hey, why not give Toyota a try? Because if any car out there is going to sell, it's going to be a Toyota or Honda. And then some people have been talking about buying a Chevrolet. But I really don't want to make this part of the video kind of too long either. I got some stuff I want to talk about to go with this part of the video. But alright, hold on a minute, I got something here caught my eye. A little more of a basic package of a Tacoma. This appears to be TRD Sport. 56,302. Toyota Tacoma Sport. And that's a four-wheel drive. It's a four-wheel drive. See, I'm trying to find the cheapest vehicle because I'm trying to figure out what the average consumer can afford. And really, I think really for me, I really don't see much that I think that an average consumer can afford anyway. Really, it's not that at one point that people could afford a high car payment, but the rent, the price and everything else, what price of everything else wasn't as high as it was before. This is what they call the this is the new Camrys. These new Camrys are nice, but let's see, it's got a kind of a leather type package to it, and it's $40,465. Woo-wee. Yeah, they're nice, all right. They come with a nice price tag too. Still driving the old blue Honda over here. I'm not ashamed of it. Oh, I think everybody's trying to run what they got until they break it. That car there has only got just over 100,000 miles on it. It's gonna keep on going for a long time. Hopefully, take good care of it. Those oil changes, everything else. This right here is what and there's really a whole list of the whole lot of these things right here. But really, I think really these would be more your better bet. It depends on you and your family, but $25,512. That's your Toyota Corolla, and these are pretty much the car that made Toyota what it is. Really, they were the car that made everything be what it is. They are the original car. $25,362. Of course, back in the older days, they used to have what they call the 22RE engine, and they also had something called the 20RE engine, 20RE. And back then, those engines, that was 22RE and 22R and 20REs, were really one of the best engines Toyota's ever made. But Toyota's still putting it out pretty good. 25,304. Yeah, like I said, in my opinion, these are pretty much going to be your best buy, just generally speaking. I mean, and I got a Toyota right there. It probably looks like it might be needing to get worked on. But while I'm at it, I will have a peek at a couple more simple cars, see what we can find. I don't want to get too crazy. I'm not exactly sure what's up with these, but this one right here kind of caught my eye. Got another little Toyota right there I'll check out too. This one has no price tag. It's not somebody owns though. Somebody owned though. But let's walk over here, and I got a nice TRD right here too. We'll take a peek at it, but I don't want to mess with somebody's personal car, you know. This may be a personal car. Nope, no personal car, but we got a nice TRD there. But yeah, a nice a 4Runner there. But I don't want to go to messing around with somebody's personal car. This might be the service section's kind of back there, right there. So I don't want to mess with somebody's car that's going to be serviced or anything. It's not my style. I try not to bother any of this stuff while I'm here. Drive on, make videos, and go on about my life. Yeah, I just drive on, make videos, and go on about my life. Tell you what, sometimes I get out here and I see some wild things while I'm out here. I don't know why, but it seems like homeless people must really like to be around car lots. It's 41,000. What is this thing? Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. $41,000 for a hybrid. If you want that, you go ahead. Well, let's just take a look at a couple of fancy jobs while we're at it, just to see what the real fancy ones would cost. Don't want to make the video too long. $47,245. This is a 4-wheel drive double cab long bed. It's a TRD package off-road. Nice truck. You'd be the judge if it's worth $47,000. Nice, but
Nice truck. And that's really where I think Toyota's really kind of ruining themselves. I mean, really, a lot of these, $49,000. But like I said before, I said when it comes down to getting this or a Toyota or a Chevy Colorado, which one do you think I'd rather buy, that or a Chevy Colorado? And I got news for you, the Toyota would win out every time. They got several of these nice things. I wonder how much that real nice one there costs. I'm gonna go check out the old off-road dune buggies, dirt buggy thing. $88,000. Sequoia 4-wheel drive, and she has the V8, now V6. It's a turbo V6 hybrid. $88,000. Yep, you go right on ahead, buddy. I will let you have it. That's not for me. They got an FJ Cruiser right there. I don't think they make them anymore, though. Like I said, I don't want to make the video too long. Just want to take a peek at this. This is somebody's personal vehicle. That's what it is. Huh? Yeah, it is. Or it's just a maxed out thing they got from them. Jeeps and all that stuff. But yeah, it gets kind of ridiculous though. It really does. I don't know how Toyota ever thinks that they're ever going to get these things sold. They only sold 20% of the vehicles they made last year. I mean, even at $25,000, you're talking about a car loan that is, even at $25,000, you're still talking about a car loan that's probably at today's interest rates over $500 a month, and then you're probably talking about another $200 a month in insurance. So that little bitty car right there costs you $700 a month right there for that little car. The other one about $700 a month. So, and then you start getting into more of these Priuses, they're $40,000. So you're probably talking about, oh God, there used to be a time it used to be $20 on every 1,000. Now it's $25 on every 1,000. So, you know, you're talking about a pretty good amount of money. You know, $500 to $600 a month car payment. Now this Prius here, this is $38,830, and they've always been a more expensive vehicle, but they're about $10,000 overpriced right now. But they've always been kind of expensive. Even when they were newer, they come out, they were expensive. So you're talking about probably, I want to kind of guess you're probably talking about probably $800-900 a month car payment. I could do the math. Even if you got perfect. I'm talking about if you got great credit. I'm not talking about somebody with no credit. I'm talking about somebody with great credit. I could do the math, find out. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, really, if you're going to get any of the Toyotas, I'd say get one of these right here. Just get one of these simple Toyota Corollas. Leave it at that. Forget them Camrys and stuff like that. Just get a Corolla. And that's for the trucks and everything. Man, let's go buy your used work truck and just beat it out. You know, just get you a nice used work truck and beat it out, man. Anyway, be good. Be good at it.